Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, today, kit I've not seen before from Matchbox. Well, it's sort of latter day Matchbox, post-lesson Matchbox. It's the Challenger tank, and it's been very kindly loaned to us by Neil from Creative Time Wasting. A man very familiar with the Matchbox kits, well, for a few minutes until he builds them. May God forgive his soul! God, has he no sense of shame at all? Obviously not, but anyway, he's rather good at it, let's be honest. But he's loaned this very kindly to me, and I think it's, look at this, EM models, £3.60 I think that was. I'm guessing it's an 85, 86, or maybe 83 to 86, somewhere, it should tell me. Somewhere. Does it? I think not going to. I don't think it's going to tell us. Matchbox company. It's got the Chinese writing on it, so I think this is it's at least 83, earliest, probably 86, 88. There it is, copyright 88. It says. Oh, it's very fine writing that. 1988. So I wasn't far off. Right, let's have a look. Anyway, it looks nice actually, because it's not one I've seen before, so this is a new experience for me. And it's not Matchbox March either, so this is a rare treat for me. Out of season Matchbox. Excuse me. I'm just going to have a sip of my cider. Without further ado, let's get cracking. I do like the Challenger tank. These are the very ones that, of course, have been, as per this kit, have been supplied for use in Ukraine with great effect, actually, in most cases. A little bit careful with this. Oh, sorry, just before we go on, I forgot, of course, Matchbox has got all the colour call-outs on the back. We need to see that. But they have gone for the most tiny printing. It's awful. Don't like this. It used to be really big, clear printing, and now it's... Oh, even the camera zoom's struggling a little bit. Challenger main battle tank. The Royal Hussars in Germany. British Army on the Rhine. Or... No, that's it. The 2nd Royal Tank Regiment. Oh, there's two versions. Royal Hussars or the Royal Tank Regiment. But it's a great looking tank, isn't it? One of the great tanks of all time, you know, along with the Abrams and the Leopard 2, really. Very, very impressive machines, and as we've seen, very, very lethally dangerous, you know. Most effective. Now then. Never did like the end opening boxes, but this is typical of Matchbox, of course. Nothing's broken, that's good. Alright, so we've got green sprue, dog dirt brown, a bit like the Hurricane used to be. And we have Neil. These are supposed to be these are classic, aren't they? We all know what happened with me with John Bevan's Honey Stewart, the famous incident where we had Snappity Snapgate. We've got the same sort of thing here. This is supposed to be like, yeah, that's work hard, and I'm not going to be bending that. That is supposed to be like a rubber band track, but it isn't very rubber bandy anymore. And then we've got some brown. Anyway, let's have a read of what they say. Oops, got some decals as well. Cool. After delivery of over 800 Chieftain main battle tanks to the British Army, variants were ordered by Iran, and Project FV4030 Chieftains for Iran began. In February 1979, however, these orders were all cancelled because, of course, the Shah was overthrown and the Islamic Republic came in. That's why. It is just after the Tomcats had been delivered by America. Ouch, that was a mistake, wasn't it? Anyway. A later version was purchased by Jordan and called the Kilad, with deliveries beginning in 1980. Several prototypes of the Chieftain have been produced using Chobham armour. Why is it talking about the Chieftain? This is the Challenger, yeah? These were used as a basis for the main battle tank FV40304. This being ordered in 1980 as the next generation Challenger tank. I'm starting to wonder if they've got the wrong information then. This has a hull and turret with Chobham armour, is believed to have the highest protection of any tank now in service. Well, this was in 1988, remember. And the Americans went for a similar design, as so did the Germans with the Leopard. Quite the same, of course. This has got a rifled barrel, which they don't mention. They ought to mention that, really. So this has got a rifled barrel, the Challengers, whereas the American Abrams and I think the Leopard 2 have a smooth bore. In their case, it's a Rheinmetall cannon, isn't it? But it's smooth bore, 155mm if memory serves. But anyway, doesn't mention that. 7.62 caliber, 7.62 caliber machine gun. Yes, there we go. 120mm. Yeah, it's a smaller caliber. So it's quite highly got high velocity. Rifle barrel, smaller caliber at 120. Very high velocity, high penetration rate. You know, and this was the ethos and the idea in the British tank, to have this, following on from the Chieftain, to have the rifle barrel, which gives a greater spin, obviously, and a greater accuracy potentially as well. 60 tonnes, that's more than a Tiger. It's about the same as a Tiger 2, isn't it? But it's bigger than a Tiger 2, isn't it? It's a bit wider and a bit longer, I think. Interesting stuff. Right, let's have a look then. We have a small parts paint guide here. Things like what's that? Fire extinguisher. Oh, we might need that. Fire extinguisher, machine gun, smoke launchers, smoke discharges, and what's that? Looks like it might be a sighting system. Yeah, interesting. So, instructions. There we go. Traditional sort of style of building it up, isn't it? It's kind of a bathtub style. You just put the side plates on, and then you've got your torsion bar, sort of suspension running gear, building up your drive sprockets, idler wheels, and then the road wheels, and then you've got all the bits that are going on the rear of the tank. Yeah, that's the rear wall. Various bits and bobs. Not sure what they all are, to be honest. Lights, is it? Some lights. Not entirely clear. And then the rubber band tracks. Well, I'm not sure I'd try that, Neil, to be honest. Maybe warm them up in some. They don't feel absolutely solid. Maybe put them in some hot water, soften it a bit, and then maybe have a go. It might work okay, I think. Then you're bringing in all your road wheels and your idler sprockets going in there. Sorry, drive sprockets, I should say, which are at the rear, aren't they, on this? And then you're putting in your tracks. Then you are going to bring on your the back wall, as it were, back bulkhead. You've got your top deck going on there, complete with the hatches and tools. Then you're going to build up your main 120mm rifled cannon, popping that in here into your turret, top and bottom. And then you've got your collector baskets on the side for the spent shells and all the other little bits and bobs. Sighting system on the top. I think that's sounding like a night. Is it sighting system? Yeah, it is sighting system. I think it's like an infrared, isn't it, for night use? Because of course these were used in the first Gulf War with great effect. Don't forget, great effect. Same bits and bobs on the opposite side. And then you're going to bring your top deck down onto the main hull. And then we're going to bring our huge turret, because it's massive, the turret on these, isn't it? And the sides protection skirts. And then finally just plonk it on your diorama base. Diorama base is a little bit disappointing, if I'm honest. It's pretty featureless, really. And that is that. And then there's just a little guide here for your decals and things. Like so. Paint guide, everything that you need to know, really. Super. Right, we'll have a look at the decals then, which look all right, actually, considering they're quite old. So they're nearly 40 years old, 38 years old, these decals. They're in pretty good shape, all considered, I think. Not bad, is it? Not bad at all. So let's have a look at the plastic then. So let's start with the sort of main first sprue. They don't seem to call the sprues by numbers or names on the Matchbox, do they? There's your top deck. Very similar, very reminiscent of a Chieftain. Not quite the same shape, but quite similar in some ways, especially with the decking at the back. Then you've got your side protection skirt for your armour plating skirts for your protecting the wheels and the tracks. Here is your back, the back wall, armour plated back wall obviously. Then you've got your bathtub style hull here. Very nice, very nice. That's that. Then we've got our rather bland, I would say, a bit bland that by Matchbox's standards. It reminds me of that one for the Panther. That was a bit boring as well, wasn't it? What's the other one that was very boring? Was it the one for the V Howitzer, the Priest? That wasn't great either. Sometimes they're a bit of a nothing really. It's just got no features. A little bush or something would have been good. Maybe some more deep tyre tracks. Tank tracks would have been good in it. But anyway, bit basic. But the rest is fine. You've got all your road wheels. Here they are. And then you've got your drive sprocket wheels. Here's the idlers here. All your suspension, torsion bar suspension connectors that act as the hubs, if you like, for the wheels. Yeah, I'm not sure about the choice of colour. Dog dirt brown. It's a favourite of Matchboxes, wasn't it? And then they've gone for this sort of olive green, which is the main turret. Here we go. Yeah, it's nice though, isn't it? It's got good detail on it. All the little hatches are clearly figured. You've got your main gun here, which is in two halves, which I don't really like very much. I never like them being in halves, but Matchbox they usually go together quite well. And then we've got these are the storage baskets for the spent shells. That infrared sighting equipment's here. Yeah, it's quite a nice kit, isn't it, really? It's got good detail. Excellent. Very good. Yeah, there's nothing not to like, is there, really? Nothing not to like. I think the only disappointment for me is just the diorama base is a bit naff, really. And it doesn't even really look like a piece of ground. It's a bit weird the way they shaped it as well. Can you see what I mean? You look at it like that, it's a bit odd. It's not Matchbox's finest out of that, is it? I'd rather have it than not, don't get me wrong, I'm not moaning, but yeah, I think they could have done a bit more with that. So, I'm going to say, where are we then? Where are we? Yeah, I think a darker green would have suited that better. A very light green, isn't it, really? But it's a nice kit. Instructions seem pretty clear. Neil might have some fun getting those tracks to work, but we shall see. No doubt he will probably be building it for, you can say, Jack Robinson. He actually dropped me a line a couple of days ago saying, apologising, don't know why, because he'd forgot to send me the Saracen, the Airfix Saracen for review, which I think he'd offered and I said yes, but not a big deal, you know. But he built it already, and he said I got halfway through and I thought, oh no, I never gave it to Peter first. I can't believe the speed that this guy builds his kits. I'm most impressed, I've got to say. And here I am, we're at 2.5 years now, coming up to 2.5 years on the Mosquito. Will it be finished for Christmas? I can feel one or two of you getting very nervous already. I think Chris Jones is getting extremely nervous. I think he thinks it wasn't a joke when I said Christmas 2027. But no, that is not the plan. I want that finished on Christmas Eve. But we need this bloody tropical stroke Lawrence of Arabia summer to end as soon as possible, really. And then I can get back into it a lot more. And we've had other distractions, so with the house being on the market, that's quite distracting. People suddenly ring up at last minute and want to come see the house, and it's like, oh, No takers yet, but the change in the political situation with the government isn't helping at the moment. The housing market, speaking to somebody else I know with a similar value house, and he was saying that it's very slow, and he's been on the market I think a year. So it probably won't happen overnight, but it does mean that we have to drop everything and focus on getting the house back into showroom condition, if you know what I mean, or as best as it can be. So there we go. Anyway, back to the Challenger. I'm going to give it 9.5 out of 10. I think apart from that slightly iffy, rather boring diorama base, I think it's really rather nice actually. And yeah, something to try. If you see that going cheap in a sale somewhere, I would definitely pick one up if that were you. Thank you very much to Neil for loaning it to us. 10 out of 10 for you. And we have a couple of others from Neil coming very soon, so stay tuned. In the meantime, I'm off for another cool drink. Till see you next time. Stay well, stay safe. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.